Welcome to From the Basement Up. I'm excited to introduce everyone to Genika Blandshaw, the owner and creator of Juice Factory VII. I met Genika at a meeting earlier this spring and she inspired me. Her healthy juices are delicious. Actually, she was glowing at the time, so I felt like I needed to do the juicing myself. She's created something special for her community and her online customers, a store that insists on high quality standards and yummy recipes that make it easy to make good choices. Genika opened the store in 2017 and her company continues to grow. She is now offering healthy food options in a couple of very lucky local schools. I'm excited that Genika is here with us today, sharing her story and mission of providing healthy food options to her community. Hello, Genika, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I know
We're
that
so happy you're here.
Yes, and I know that you had a busy day, but I would love to hear your background and hear we've gotten feedback from our listeners where they love hearing about just not just the entrepreneur side, but also about the person. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a little bit of your background or sharing that would be fantastic.
Sure. So originally born and raised in Troy, New York. I did move away for a little bit. I lived in Brooklyn for a little bit. Had my daughter, got married, and so I wanted to be around more family. So I came and relocated back here. I've always been in the insurance industry. So before this, I used to write the policies and procedures for Medicaid. Very well paying, high job. I didn't plan on, changing or shifting or anything like that. However, as life has it, they laid the whole company off. So I was offered a position to go into another contract that was in California, flying back and forth. And with a baby, it just, that wasn't an option for me at that time. So my husband actually recommended me to open up a juice bar. We traveled and everywhere but where we were, I swear there was like a juice bar in every corner. So, I was like, yeah, right. I don't have any restaurant experience. So what we ended up doing was we purchased a Vitamix for home and I just started different recipes there. And that's where the baby of Juice Factory started.
At home in your kitchen.
Yes, at home in the kitchen.
I love
with
that.
the kids letting me know like yay or nay.
They were the tasters?
They were.
So have you always been drawn to juice or healthy food? What was it that juice was the answer?
No, actually, I am a foodie person, so I love food, and I like quality food and different taste. And, I travel all over and I'll try different things where my husband is not. He's the complete opposite of me. He can eat the same thing every day. I can't. So starting like on this healthy journey, I've had like a couple of medical issues where, I spoke to medical professions that, said that I have a thyroid issue. So I take Synthroid and I was looking for like something like holistic. I didn't want to be on medicine like my entire life. I was so young. I was like, I don't want to take medicine for the rest of my life. So I started doing like some research and things like that about like what I can do, like what foods to stay away from, what would be best for, the thyroid and things like that. So that started our journey as well.
So I didn't hear that the last time we met. So thank you so much for sharing that. Juice Factory VII, and you added 7 on. I wanted to kind of get to this really fast. What is the 7 for?
So 7 is my lucky number. My birthday's in July. My year is definitely 77. My husband was born on the 7th day. His year is 77 as well. We had our dog. His name was 7. So 7 is just our lucky number. And I stand by it. I've always loved that number. So it's lucky 7.
So I like how you pull that personal side into the name of the business. So, and I would love for you to describe the mission you have for Juice Factory 7.
So our mission was to be, I've always loved Panera, right? So I loved the fact that everything looks so fresh. When you sit and you observe a lot, you notice that, everything is franchised. So you know that they have to do things a little bit different. But I love their concept initially. So what I wanted to do was like create for our community, healthy on the go. Where, everyone is sitting in those lines at McDonald's and Wendy's and things like that. But just have that option, like, I can still eat healthy and it's somewhat like of a fast food restaurant. So that's what our mission was to create healthy eating and healthy lifestyle, like, to ways of learning how to eat appropriately. And you can do it whether you're out and about or whether you're at home as well.
So, and maybe I'm making a connection that's not here, or what maybe wasn't intended, and I don't want to get too far away from your background, but that's what I'm kind of going back to. There's like the health aspect in all of this, and you did policy making for Medicare and Medicaid. Do you think that that's like a driving force in your life, is health?
I wonder, sometimes like I wonder, like I know being in the corporate world, it helped me out tremendous because originally, like when I opened up, there's like a lot of tight-lipped, there's not a lot of people that like would help you, even so much as if you ask like someone, was there an app that you use for staffing? They don't tend to help you out as much. There were a few restaurants that definitely helped me out, and I'll be forever grateful for them. But it was just I think being in the corporate world as well as just learning things from scratch, it helped me out.
I've tasted the juices, and I'm actually drinking juices now.
Right.
So I'm on a cleanse. But I did want to ask you, as far as the organic foods and juices and produce that you use, how did you research that, and how did you find your vendors?
So originally, actually, when I was in the corporate world, there was one of my staff that reported to me. He said, "Oh, I have to hook you up. I used to work at, I think it was Peaches and Cream over in Stuyvesant Plaza." And he said, "I have a distributor and I think you'd be a good match." He knew that I was opening up, my juice bar, because in New York State, they give you a WARN Act. So it's like 90 days. They give you your salary. They send you home with your laptop. So it gave me 90 days to get my juice bar up and running when they laid everyone off. So he actually put me on to like my vendors because some of the vendors that actually deliver to Peaches and Cream are the same vendors that I now have and I've had from the beginning.
Wow.
So, and I try to do local also. There's a couple of shops that are like that grow their own produce, like beets. I love golden beets, red beets, things like that. So we try to stay in line with that as well.
That's really smart. I mean, just trying to get local.
Yeah, definitely.
I say this probably too much, but it really did affect businesses during the pandemic. Was it harder to get produce at that time? Was there any issue?
Not for me. It was a little bit hard to get like those specialty things like fresh turmeric, the pitaya, things like that. It was a little bit hard to come by, and the prices are through the roof, as you know. Mm-hmm. But I always maintain the same quality. Like I won't veer off of that just because something has gone up in prices. And actually, I think I only raised my prices once, I have a couple of friends that own restaurants. And they're like, you're behind the ball, raise your prices, but it's like, you still want, people to come and enjoy it. And hopefully, we'll meet like a ceiling top, where it would come down a little bit. But at this point, I don't plan on raising, the prices anymore. I'll just incur those costs until it goes back down to normal.
Have you thought, if this is kind of out there, have you thought about growing your own produce at any
I
time?
did. I did. I really, yes. Like, that is like one of my own dreams. I definitely want my own farm. I want a lot of land and, just to live off of, exactly what is going into your soil and things like that. So that's one of my dreams and my goals. And I will definitely obtain that.
So yeah, I mean, it's great. So I was telling Emily this. I'm like, I wish that rather than there being a Starbucks in every town on every corner, that there was like a Juice Factory VII. And it's so everyone knows that's listening. It's so cool inside, and you decorated and did it all. So I love it. It's a cool space. So
thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Has anyone ever said like this? So this is like the healthy option for like a bar. I think we were talking about mocktails too.
Yeah. So mocktails, I did mocktails for a little briefly. And I felt like, I feel like I'm always like a little bit forward, more than the rest. I don't know where that comes from, but, I feel like Troy wasn't just ready for that just yet. So I plan on bringing that, back, the mocktails, because I have like a whole load of recipes for it. And, they're so pretty and, vibrant, to drink. And it's like, for those that don't drink, I don't drink. So, you can still, have that same experience. You want people to come for the juice, but you want everyone to stay for the experience. So.
And your place, I'm just curious because I walked in to pick up my juice cleanse and doing a 3-day, and it's so cool. You have like this chalkboard full of shots. So you've got juice shots. If you don't mind just kind of walking people through like your development process of this, and I would love to hear like, has it made a difference on the bottom line? Because I would, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So the quick shots I've had like all along since I started Juice Factory. And so those are like concentrated base items. And we have a number of different ones. So we have one for, there's a lot of nurses that order from us, a lot of mechanics that order from us. So they may need to stay up. So we have for them, we've designed a power shot for them, and they order that a lot. It keeps them up, it keeps them going. We have some that if you feel like you're coming down with a cold, we have something to fix for that. We have something to build for your immunity for like elderberry. We have something like for everything. And I thought of like, all right, what are the common things? Like, when you go to a juice bar, you're like, hey, do you have anything to help with like headaches? Or do you have anything to help with like to lower my cholesterol or high blood pressure, things like that. So we're able to assist with those types of questions there. And we can blend and remix, and it doesn't have to be off the menu. We can customize things for you as well.
So as far as like the recipes that you have on the menu, like what are they and what do they consist of?
So they're all like fruits and veggies for the cold pressed juices. And then like smoothies, we'll add whatever. Like we add superfoods, we'll do like hemp seeds, chia seeds, anything that you ask to add on. We'll do those. We have proteins, we have vegan options for everyone. There's something there for literally everyone, even our little kids. We have like the little 9-ounce smoothies or little grilled cheese, things like that. So
I saw that. I was looking at your website today. I also
Yeah.
wanted to harp on how beautiful your website is. It's
Thank
literally
you.
gorgeous. Yes.
Thank
And
you. It took a lot for me to design that. Like,
it carries through from your store too, and you can it that like is you can
thank
tell.
you.
But I saw the little menu and like all of the you have such a spread like toasts
Yeah.
and all of that and quesadillas. Where did that come from?
So the quesadillas, it was like one of my staff like made something for me there, and I actually made a post, and people just started calling for it. So the quesadilla stayed on.
I love it.
They
That's
stayed
awesome.
on. Yeah. So we have a veggie, a shrimp one, and a chicken.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like
Yeah.
so hungry.
It's good.
And also I read your blog and I wanted to say that it was really cool because of like there's so much research apparently that goes into it and you can tell. And the one that I read was the citrus and how it
Yeah.
has anti-cancer benefits from
Yes.
drinking citrus. I had no idea.
Yeah. And we have actually a drink called Citrus Glow. Um, so that has like all of the citrus fruit in it. It has lemon, it has grapefruit, it has pineapple and oranges in it. I love that one. That one's been on the menu from the beginning. Originally, when I first started, I had like all the nicknames of my family members,
Oh,
and they were like all the juices and smoothies were named after everyone that was like near and dear to me. And then when we moved into our new space, we just like kind of remade them, remixed them. And then, we took which was popular. Like there's like a few of them on there that we just can't get rid of. Like everyone, like I change my menu probably about 2 times a year, generally. And, just to keep everything fresh and new. And so people are like, oh, don't take the heavenly chocolate off. Don't take the caviar off. So there's the ones that are gonna like actually stay on there like forever and ever. And we're okay with that. So
good.
Yeah. Well, when I met you, Genika, I was telling you, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're glowing, and you really do have like this inside glow. And I'm like,
thank
okay,
you.
you do. And I'm like, okay, I've got to start drinking her juice. But I would love for you to explain to everybody, just because a lot of our customers who will be listening or listeners are from around the country, and
Right.
you do ship around the country.
We do.
Yes, through your
We
website.
do.
But
Yeah.
your juices are awesome, and I would love for you to explain like the cleanse and like what you typically do in the cleanse. And I know that you also offer custom things too.
We do. So the customs are more geared towards like if anyone is allergic to anything, or if just, something may just not be, your thing. Like, I know I don't particularly like celery. So, celery is a hard thing for me to get down, but generally, like we will do whatever you want. I do have a cleanse that is online. It's typically 5 drinks per day, and you would start around about 8:30 in the morning, and you drink every 2 hours after that, with also drinking a gallon of water within that day. Sometimes, if it's like for first timers, you may feel like you may need a salad like at the end. So we recommend like using a plant-based salad, with like maybe like a vinaigrette rather than like a creamy.
So as far as the juice cleanse, like what is the purpose of it? What is it?
It's a reset. It's a reset of your digestive system. You're getting away from those solid foods. Like sometimes you may feel sluggish. Sometimes it may be like a detox for your, how you feel, like your body, you're very much in tune with your body, because you're in it every day, right? So it's going to tell you like, hey, you need to slow down, or hey, something doesn't feel right. So, it's just that reset of, your digestive system.
And I let you know that coming off Easter, I was completely addicted to sugar and, totally the jelly beans and the chocolate bunnies. And
Right.
so I'm hoping this will help me because
Yes.
my late night cravings have been terrible. It's awful. So the one thing I wanted to know is do people come in, and I know that you do the custom recipes. Do you find some that stick that you want to sell for everybody?
Yes. So like our Go Green is our most popular one. Celery is also our popular one. Like a lot of the greens are very popular ones. So but we also throw in like golden heels, things like now that summer is here, I'll do like the watermelon. There's like a watermelon, spicy watermelon one I do. And it has like cayenne, it has a little bit of jalapeno in it and mint in it. It's amazing. It's not hot or anything like that, but it's just right. It tastes amazing. So,
That sounds so good.
yeah. So
When does that come? When does that arrive?
that comes probably like at the end of this month,
Okay.
and I'll run it through the end of the summer.
Okay, good. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I already
We're like-
texted
It's
my
so
friend today.
refreshing. Keeps you hydrated. So it's just really refreshing.
Yeah, I texted a friend that lives in downtown Albany today. I was like, "Have you been to the Juice Factory?"
Juice Factory VII.
Yeah, Juice Factory 7. She hasn't,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
Tell her
let's
to
go.
come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were to pick one juice recipe, which one would it be and why?
So probably my favorite one is not on my menu anymore, but it was my favorite. It's pears, beets, and pineapple. And I like things that are a little sweet. So that I'm like, hey, I'm getting my fruits in, right? But that has to be like the best juice that I love. And it never goes out of style. And sometimes I'll add a little bit of ginger to give it like a little kick. But that's my absolute favorent one.
Will that one be coming back with the watermelon?
Yes, I have plenty of stickers from them. I usually rotate them back. And then we have like, so many staff that remember it, and we have a book, but I've been extremely lucky with all my staff that originally started with me are still with me. So everyone knows it like the back of their hand. So like if you come in and you've had something at one of the other locations, we know it. So we'll do it for you. We have customers like that like, oh, I really wanted the Bruce Lee, or oh, I really wanted we had one called the Booty Blast. And and that one was really, really good. Didn't look good, but it was absolutely good. It had like spinach, it had carrots, pineapple in it, and as well as orange. So
I like the name.
So if I were to come in and say like I need a vitamin C boost or something, would you be able to rattle off like what should go into a blend that would be perfect for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And you could either do it as a quick shot, or you can add it into your juice or your smoothie as
Cool.
well.
That is so cool. You're like a scientist.
I know. Mad scientist. So now how many locations do you have?
So I have the Juice Factory at 501, and then we have the one inside the school so far.
Okay.
Yeah, so our other location, the first location is now Street Taco 7. Also. So my daughter originally had that. She kind of got a little bit overwhelmed. So my cousin now has it, and she's like my sister. So she's running that now.
Are you thinking of starting one in Saratoga? I just had to ask.
So I've heard that a lot, to add one up in Saratoga. So it's not off the books.
Oh
Okay.
my God, the town would go crazy.
We would love it. And so I'm just thinking like mocktails and high-end juices.
Yeah, and all of these people like love I don't know, these other places, and it's all farm to table. Like the up and coming places, like when I go to town, everyone's talking about the farm to table, and that's like exactly your kind of
doing.
deal.
I have another cool concept too, like that would go along with that. It would be amazing. It'd be like a water bar.
Oh, that's so cool.
So what is it like hint water, or would you be doing?
So like, how like you go to like say Vent Fitness and you go, they have like the 3 individual water, and you like they're like tubes that come up to you. They're like for hydration. They're if you need sleep, anything like that. So it's just different. It's water, but it has like it's infused.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
This
Oh my
is
gosh.
brand new to me.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be revolutionary, but the people are going to love it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm always ahead of the curve. I'm like, yeah, I have to research this now. So you offer more than juices though. And I wanted to ask you, when did you start expanding your menu?
So I always wanted to do, like when I first started, I did soup, salad, sandwiches, juice, and smoothies. Then I started adding in the acai bowls, and then we started doing toast. Toast actually came because we were playing around in the shop, and we had people taste it, and they loved it. So like we just started expanding on the toast. So it really was like a mistake, but not one.
It's called toast.
Fancy toast.
Fancy toast. Okay. That is so funny. So what is in fancy toast?
So we have like a variety of ones. So we have savory ones as well as like a sweet one. So some of our savory ones are with like the avocado, the feta cheese, the microgreens, the heirloom tomatoes. We have some with pears and goat cheese, and it's drizzled with like agave. We have some with bananas, peanut butter, cinnamon, drizzled with agave. So yeah.
I'm like, I need to just drive to the juice bar after this.
Okay, so now this is going to get everyone super jealous. So you've started like going to schools now. You are doing lunches at a couple of like two very, very lucky schools in the capital region.
I am. So it's been like super great. Like the kids are like, I don't know, like I just love doing I wasn't sure like how it was gonna, play, but it's been like pretty amazing. The kids, the staff, and they're not afraid to try the healthy. Like they're more geared towards the healthy options than anything else inside there. So I just make sure that we have that readily available for them.
I wonder if it like plays a role in how they perform in class. You should ask the teachers.
I should ask the teachers. Yeah. The teachers all come down too. So
yeah.
And
I'm going to ask them tomorrow.
Brain power or something. I have to imagine that before whoever cooked for the school before you, I think that it would be interesting to ask teachers who have seen students with both. Yeah. I feel like they're smarter with you there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
They're more focused.
Yes, definitely focused.
And energized.
Well, I really want you to come to Saratoga. I'm going to just keep bringing that up. So, my goodness. Like, once you were talking about the toast, I was like, okay, I'm done. So, you have kids and you are growing a business. And I'm just wondering what lessons you would share with other parents who are thinking of starting something.
Sure. So the lessons that I would share is like to always surround yourself with like-minded people, surround yourself with people that are positive, and make sure you show up for yourself all the time, because and accept people for who they are, because I feel like there's so many bumps in the road that you come across when you start a business, especially like starting from scratch, whether it be funding, whether it be resources, anything like that. You have to do the work, one. And I feel like if you don't have any expectations of people, you got to meet people where they are. And if you don't have any expectations, it leads to less disappointment. So always show up for yourself, and no matter what, root for yourself. And I think it's like extremely important to be around positive people, because you can have some people that will try to talk you off that ledge. Like, oh, I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do it. No, I can do it. And I'm gonna. So you need to get those people away from you, and have that tunnel vision while you're actually doing the groundwork.
And I'm just thinking your husband must be a positive light in your life because he was like, just start a juice company. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay.
Yeah, he is. He definitely like, he's a numbers person. So he thinks like very quickly, and like he comes up with the ideals and I execute them.
Power couple.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance.
Good combination.
Yeah.
Good for you. Do you find at night you guys are still talking work? Or are you ever able to shut it down?
We never shut it down, but I did the last meeting we were at, I got some feedback for it. So I'm going to try it because I feel like we're always like there's like no chill on like, all right, what are we doing next? All right, what's up for tomorrow? Okay, this is what we're going to do. It's like constant. It's never like
Well, you did mention that you have some employees who have been with you for a long time, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love that. Are they starting to experiment and come up with recipes and different juice recipes?
Oh yeah, they do all the time. And as long as I'm like, I love your feedback. I love it. Let's do it. Anything to make their jobs easier. I always make them feel, like they're family and they're a part of Juice Factory because they are, without them, I wouldn't be able to, run a successful business. So
that's fantastic. And you're also at schools too during the day, and you have the staff who you trust and they're running the store.
Yep.
So that's amazing. I know that, taking those steps and removing yourself out of the shop, out of the store to be in the schools, was that a scary experience?
Extremely, extremely. I was like so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. I was like, I kept putting it off. They wanted me to start last year. And then I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. But I just did it. And then I think I didn't sleep for like a week. I was like saying to my husband, oh my God, like, I can't sleep. What type of meals do you think that they would like? Do you think they're going to like this? It was just like constant. And I think like once I got in there and just did what I do best, it was like a cakewalk after that. So
good.
Yeah.
It's like I can like go in there now and it's like, oh yeah, we're doing that. And I know the time framing and, so it's been like a blessing actually. So just to see the other side of things.
Well, it sounds rewarding too. You really
It
enjoy
is.
being with the kids. So as far as mistakes go, I always say my mistakes taught me the most when you really sit down and you look at it and, assess and think about what happened. Are there any mistakes that you're comfortable sharing that would kind of help people, avoid kind of giving them the lesson that they may not have to walk through?
Yeah. So speaking of staff, so even though you treat them like family, you have to know that there's a fine line, where, things aren't taken advantage of too, so I never wanted to be like a micromanager or anything like that, but it is your baby, you started it from the ground up, so you have to be mindful of things like that. So definitely no relatives.
This is my aunt.
She's my niece.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it either. I love her and I love
yes,
her.
Because you have to have those uncomfortable conversations sometimes, and business is business, and sometimes depending on what type of relative you have. I mean, trust me, I've had my daughter work for me and she got fired like 5 times. Because it's like you got to get yourself together, so but she'll come back and she'll come back a little bit better than before, and but those are life lessons
Yes.
throughout. So I would recommend to kind of stay away from family members, but to keep things separate. also.
Yes.
And you're just off of that note, because I'm speaking from probably her perspective more. You're teaching her a really valuable lesson by hiring,
Yes.
by firing, and like by choosing to include her, even though it might not be the best thing, because
Right.
ultimately sometimes it works out. It like there are those uncomfortable conversations, but in my like instance, I feel like I've gotten an experience here that I can't get anywhere else, and not a lot of people can like mirror their experiences as mine. And it's really, really unique. So I feel like the
Right.
lessons that I've learned here, I won't learn them anywhere else.
Right. I
It's really
agree.
valuable.
I had her like at my hip. I was teaching her like the back end of stuff. It's like, you don't just run it there, but this is the stuff you do afterwards, you know. And it's just never, a time where anything goes off really, so she learned some valuable lessons, and
You guys probably got to know each other a little too well, too.
oh my God, she was like, well, I don't want to work while you're working. I don't want to work here.
I'm like, oh, honey, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, I love it though. It's so funny. She'll laugh. It's
Yes.
funny.
Yeah. She definitely laughs afterwards.
So, Genika, what do you think your superpower is?
I would have to say being able to multitask and being able to look at the glass half full instead of half empty.
That's a good one. I love
Yeah.
I
that
want to
one.
put one in your frame too. You're really confident, and you are like I don't know, a doer. Yeah. Jinx, because
Thank you.
you said it at the beginning. Yeah, you said it's been a long day and I need some juice.
I need some fancy toast.
Yeah. You just went out there and did it, and it's
Yes.
just it's just awesome. I just can't even believe that you and your husband were like, okay, I'll just start the Juice Factory VII.
I know, right?
And,
I know.
And not
Like,
just that, Genika, your store is awesome. So this
Thank
is something I wanted to touch on. You're like, it's a super cool space. This is why I think you can have like a bar. This is why I'm
Right.
going this direction. I keep hinting on this. So, and I want you to expand your storefronts, but I think you have this creative streak in you. Like you are a designer. Like you've designed this cool space. So amazing. And I think that might be your superpower you didn't touch on.
Yes, it is. I love designing. So I did start actually Room Chronicles. I wanted to start first before Juice Factory. And my husband said, no, do the juice bar, because juice bar, that's instant money. Room Chronicles, you have to work your way up there, you have to get clients and things like that. So I was like, okay. So actually I got, a few jobs off of, they were like, who designed it? I'm like, oh, Room Chronicles. Oh, what's that? That's
Good. Good.
So, so I'm building my portfolio with the Room Chronicles as well.
Have you thought about, and I'm just kind of throwing this out there. Look at me. I'm just like brainstorming here. But I could see this like Room Chronicles designing restaurants and bars. I mean, I really
would love that. Yeah, because not for anything, but I have like so many menus, and I have enough for like everything, and like I'm like such an observer. So like when I go into places that like I love, I always try, different things. I'm like, you know what? If they had this machine, it would be so much better. I'm telling you, they wouldn't cross-contaminate that. And I'm like, but I think of those things. I don't know why, but it comes to mind. So that definitely would be like, it would go hand in hand, run hand in hand. Yeah.
You have a talent. I was snapping pictures. I shared them with Emily. I'm like, look at this. Isn't this cute? This is so great.
And we like to call Michelle a serial entrepreneur. And I think that you are one too.
Oh yeah. She definitely is. But I think you might even be more so because yours expands. Like there's no, you know what I mean? Like you're a designer, but then you're making juice.
And then you're in school.
Yes.
And I was even thinking a second ago, like you could do like a WeWork space if you really wanted to. And then with the menus, like put in your own little Panera in there. I'm
her Juice Factory VII.
Yes, let's talk after this.
I know what it's called. But you know what I'm saying? Like a cafe, whatever type that they normally have like.
Oh, you could
save.
You could totally save. Do it. What is it? WeWorks? Haven't they been struggling?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying combine with that. I'm saying, do you know like what WeWork? It's like it's like a space where anyone can go, and I'm saying you could totally. And I'm not saying that her place is Panera either. I know that it's not Panera.
Right.
Like
you were just thinking about fancy toast. I wanted to ask, as far as when you sit down, because this is 5 years, you've been sprinting for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just looking at what you've made in 5 years, this is phenomenal. I mean,
thank you.
Your company, they were so stupid to let you go. I'll be honest, but good for you that they did.
Right. Good for me.
And thank you for the government.
Yeah. Well, I can just tell that already, like, look what you've done in 5 years. Holy smokes. When you sit down and you think about it, like, what do you give thanks to, or who do you give thanks to?
God first, always. And then my mom, I swear, like I've watched her, but my mom is like such a hard worker. My dad died when I was age 10, but I watched my mom raise my brother and I, and she was just always a hard worker. She's always happy. She always looks at the glass half full too. And so just those two things are like, those are my number ones besides my kids and my husband, but my God definitely first, because I swear he's blessed me over and over again. And I feel like he always shows up on time. So.
Oh, I love that. That's what we call synchronicities.
That's a great quote too, that he always shows up on time. Mm-hmm.
He does.
That's perfect. Well, actually, that I was curious because as I lead out of our interviews, a lot of times I ask people to give us the words that they live by or a quote that means a lot to them. Mm-hmm. That may have been it, but do you have another one?
Yes. Stay true to yourself.
Okay.
I love that. That's what I think you said earlier.
Yeah. Stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that everything else will fall. As long as you're true to yourself, as long as you're a humble person and, a good person, not, no one is perfect, but as long as you are, a good person, ultimately, I feel like everything falls into play for you.
I love ending on that. Thank you. Genika, thank you so much for being with us today. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm just thinking those kids are so lucky to be with me every day. So wonderful. And thank you for the wonderful juices that I'm actually on right now. And I'm loving the process and I'm doing well. Loving the process.
Did you get on the scale?
I did this morning.
Okay, good.
I did. But you know what, to be honest, I don't care so much about that piece. What I care about is I just have to stop the sugar. And that's why I'm so excited for this.
And you'll feel energized. Let me know, like, after your 3 days, let me know how you feel. Like, you're going to feel like, whoo, you got a little pep in your step.
Good. I need that.
I love it.
But thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today on From the Basement Up. Please be sure to check namebubbles.com for our blog on the podcast and all of the show notes, resources, and links for our guests every Thursday. And please be sure to leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week, and thank you.